What is a Filipina? Is she Asian or Western? Is she the reluctant leader Corazon Aquino? Or is she the self-proclaimed symbol of beauty for her people, Imelda Marcos? Is she the modern-day Gabriela Silang, who envisions and works towards cross-sectoral changes? Or is she one of the millions of faceless and nameless struggling multitude who does anything just to put rice on the table, the ordinary Juana de la Cruz? We can see this notion of identity for Philippine women reflects the problem of national identity for men and women alike. Unlike those of many of its Asian neighbors, the Philippine national psyche has been pounded by the fists of several masters. This is not to say that the pre-colonial Philippines was free of sexual exploitation, but when those values were grafted onto the colonial social, economic, and political institutions, forged over centuries of foreign rule, the task of defining one's identity as a Filipina became even more complicated. Rizal was compelled to wrestle with the challenge of discovering ways of altering women's subaltern marginalization and subordination via his works. He tried to involve or mention his sister and other female compatriots into the political group to thwart the oppressive privatization of their bodies. The character of Doña Victorina is a reflection of the triumph of colonialism, the alteration of behavior, and thinking pattern of the character's perception of a superior race. Over years has passed, there is a character of Doña Victorina. Today, the trappings of the colonial mindset persist and is expressed in the attraction to look Western and to consume Western goods. Doña Victorina is a characterization of lost identity, her frivolity, and that of Palia Gomez, who is greatly enamored by the trappings of the elite, who loves the man who could maintain the needs of her class, and who is a vain and flightly version of Maria Clara, may be seen today in the persona of Imelda Marcos. The colonial Spanish period's desired image of a Filipina is embodied in the character of Maria Clara, the idealized model of a Filipina, the Roman Catholic's Virgin Mary, European and foreign. Maria Clara belongs to the elite same as Doña Victorina. Her kindness is not to be equated, however, with social awareness. She is a repressed woman and her weakness and despair over a lost love overwhelm her, enabling powerful and sinister forces to slowly drive her to death.
Sisa, you mean the deranged mother of Basilio and Crispin, described as beautiful and young. Although she loves her children very much, she cannot protect them from the beatings of her husband, Pedro. Sisa represents the silent victims of an oppression which drove her to madness and death. There are millions of Sisas in the Philippines today, the unfortunate women who are scavenging for food in the mountains of trash, the degraded women whose bodies are used as commodities, and the abused wives who are repeatedly beaten by their husbands.
You might as well say that she suffers abuse and humiliation working as a servant to pay her family's debt. She brings to mind that women of today who work for starvation wages. Julie refuses to be coerced. Her death liberates her from oppression. Among these characters, perhaps Julie best characterizes as a sense of purpose and identity. In Rizal's characters, the women who seem to be able to obtain their desired needs no matter the consequences, but on the other hand, misfortune seems to be the fate of the woman whose consciousness could be raised to levels higher than that of self-sacrifice. Not only do Rizal's novels provide a matrix for identity and conflict, they also allow a rare view of a people's past which formed their culture today, and of a social cancer. Who is more oppressed? Who has really liberated herself? Perhaps what we are seeing is the notion that oppression has slowed down the process towards a national identity in general and towards a Filipina identity in particular.